Hello, my lads and lassies. It is a beautiful day to celebrate all things Scottish on Loon Mountain in Lincoln, New Hampshire at the 50th annual New Hampshire Highland Games and Festival. And warning, this vlog will contain bagpipes. We'll be talking about all things Scottish, customs, history, symbolism, taking in some awesome music, looking at some merchandise, hopefully checking out some historical displays, meeting people. We'll see where the day goes, but we are excited to be here. We didn't come last year. So here we are on a beautiful White Mountain, New Hampshire day. You guys can hear that my voice is not 100%. I put out there for those of you who follow me on Insta and Facebook that I have not been 100% since coming back from New York. I am on antibiotics. I think it's another one of my famous sinus infections. Still hasn't cleared, but I didn't want to miss this. I was mad enough already that I missed some of the Benedict Arnold 250th Quebec campaign festivities in Newburyport yesterday. But I was not going to miss this. We had tickets, so here we are. The fresh air is very curative. It's going to be good. I have lots of vendors and merchandise and things like that. All things Scottish 101. Let's start with tartan. And as you can see, I am wearing today what is called the Isle of Skye tartan. Philip is matching in his Isle of Skye tartan kilt. And tartans really came about in the Highlands as a way to identify clans. Now, clan just means family. So you had clan system, meaning a family system of certain prominent surnames that would have been very well known in Scotland. And then you had other surnames that could have even served under the bigger surnames or clans. That's called being a sept of a clan. So I, for instance, my great grandmother was a Sanderson. They are a sept of Clan MacDonald of Glengarry. And so I sometimes wear the MacDonald Glengarry tartan. We have several Scottish names on our tree, so there are several that we wear. But something like this one that I have on today, I just wear because I love the colors. And there's really no tartan police that are going to come get you and take you to tartan jail if you wear someone else's tartan. These days, the kind of rivalries that existed don't really exist anymore. It's all in good fun, and pretty much everybody supports each other. And if you're Scottish, you're part of the big, wider clan. Although, if you ask a Campbell or MacDonald, there could be some conflict in what I just told you. The oldest tartan found is from the 1500s, and it was found in a peat bog in the Highlands. I have seen it. 2 years ago, we went to a special museum in Dundee, Scotland, and saw that very old piece of tartan. They had a whole tartan exhibit with very amazing pieces of antique tartan, costumery, fashion. Kilts, everything you could imagine, all things tartan. And I got to see that old piece from the 1500s found in a peat bog. Peat bogs historically preserve things really well. Everything from tartan to bodies. New Hampshire Highland Games and Festival. And here is some games portion of that. And I'll explain to you about the history in that in a minute. Let's watch. And this particular one scares the crap out of me. They throw it and it often lands, well, you'll see here.
We'll have two more.
I'm always like, step away, do not try to catch it, do not let it. If that falls on your foot, it will break your foot.
On your head, I'll kill you.
Yeah, if it hits your head, you're dead.
Here we go.
Looks to be the new mark to beat in the women's weights competition. 73 feet 4 1/2 inch.
People do come here from all over the world, and this is a qualifier, so if you win this, you can go on to games all over, even into Scotland. This is a big dude here.
And Katie Vaudrin in the women's weight trig.
We've got some stuff going on over there. Oh gosh. Wow.
Collins up and over. Of course, Collins tall enough he can almost touch that bar with his hands.
By the way, guys, it's like 70 degrees and sunny. Absolutely perfect. See, sometimes when they fall back and get close to them, I'm just like, look away.
The women are competing over here.
Yeah. Dang.
Hannah also employing the German casting method for her weight. Jared Conklin. Oh, leaves that weight out in front of that bar. He'll go.
Here to explain to you guys. So the Highland Games really started in the 11th century Highlands with King Malcolm III. And he was looking for a personal assistant, basically. Could you imagine your LinkedIn saying that your qualifications were that you could throw a caber or run up a hill or, you know, fetch heavy things really fast? So basically they had him go through the rigors and chose somebody based on their physical strength and stamina. And out of that came the tradition of keeping those games alive as a show of strength and fortitude, and hence became
Let's go Buffalo.
the famous Highland Games of the Scottish. I believe that our Highland Games are now one of the largest in all of North America. The largest in North America are in Ontario, Canada, but for the US, we go between number 1 and 3, but we have outdone the Grandfather Mountain Highland Games in North Carolina, which traditionally are very, very well known, famous, been around the longest. But attendance-wise, we're kind of knocking it out of the park. I think that the games in Northern California might beat us on numbers, but we get some other statistics, and like I said, we go back and forth, so this is legit. The thing about our games is that we are in the mountains. This is Loon Mountain in Lincoln, and Loon Mountain is a resort, a ski resort. We'll go over here and you will actually see some of the lifts and things. We actually visited these games before we even lived here and did stay in the resort one year, which was super fun. The cool thing about staying in the resort hotel is that it also gets you a lift ticket, which they're typically very expensive. So that is included. And then of course, you're here. So, oh my, look at this wonderful outfit. He's wearing the Loud MacLeod tartan, as it's known, Clan MacLeod. So if your last name is MacLeod, that is the tartan that you can wear. And like I said, the tartan is the plaids. And everybody has a unique set that is the form of lines and colors making up your clan tartan. And here when it's very, very hot, which sucks, and we have been here when it's pouring down rain, which also sucks. This, my friends, does not suck. Yesterday, they tried to break the Guinness World Record. I know the people from Guinness World Records were here to have the most bagpipers in one place at one time. I'm not sure if they did it. We'll have to ask somebody and find out. And these games are put on by NH Scott. There's a National Scottish Tartan Registry. So official tartans are registered with that. It's a whole process. And you can actually go on there and make your own tartan. You have to go through the steps and everything, but it is possible. Really great part of the games, of course, is the music, and there will be bands playing throughout the day and night. And it's all included in your ticket. As the day and night goes on, but yeah, they're all great. I do love that kind of music. So right here, so pretty. Now you guys, tartan is very, very expensive. This men's jacket, $487. And I'll tell you why tartan is expensive. The sheep farmer who has to care for and tend to the sheep and the lambs, and they have to be fed, they have to be sheared, they have to be raised. Then it goes on to be turned into thread. The wool has to be carded, it has to be dyed, then it goes to the weaving house where it finally becomes tartan. Then from there it goes on to whoever is the kilt maker, where it's actually turned into a kilt. All these pleats, yeah, they are very timely to make. It is not easy to make a kilt. So then once it goes to the kilt maker and you get this wonderful swoosh of the pleats, it's quite the process already from sheep to kilt. And once it becomes a kilt, someone has to be the go-between to sell it. So you can see there are a lot of steps involved in making a kilt, or even just any tartan. Wool is expensive, especially fine Scottish wool. And I tell people, if you are in a tourist shop somewhere and you can find a kilt and it's $30 or even $100, it's not really a kilt. It's not Scottish anyways, that's for sure. A good kilt is going to cost money. It's worth the investment, but it is going to cost money. It's a really good size festival, people come from all over. I mean, we used to come all the way from the West Coast. Everybody just here to celebrate heritage, family, the music, the food, everything that makes Scotland so fab. And look at some bagpipes. For my hat, I had to ditch it. It's like really warm in the sun. You guys probably figured out by now I don't do well in direct sunlight. My mom told me to bring a floppy hat and I didn't listen. Mother really does always know best. Bagpipes have been around for a very long time and originally could be found in countries like Turkey and throughout the Middle East. But they were kind of a different version of them. Bagpipe is really just, literally a bag with a pipe coming out of it. Anything like that could be a bagpipe. Then came the great Highland bagpipes, really popularized in the 1700s. All of these things were outlawed after the fall at Culloden and what's known as the 45, even though Culloden happened in 46, when the British started outlawing Scottish customs to try to water down the culture. Makes it easier to take over culture if you water it down. So all things were taken away, and then by the time it was reversed in the late 1700s, it kind of had a revival going into the 1800s, and darn Queen Victoria, she did a lot to actually propagate Scottish culture. Gotta give her props, even though she was an English queen. She did love the culture, popularized the wearing of tartan, associating it with the holidays, and just a lot of the traditions, including bagpipes and bringing back the Highland Games and things. So props to her. She was sort of not so bad of an egg. Here is one of my favorite parts, the puppies, the ginormous Scottish deerhounds, and they are gentle giant angels. Everybody loves them. They're sweet. Here is the booth of a local kilt maker named Patricia Smith, who I know through business, and she's got a bucket of the same kind of kilt hose that I'm wearing. I love them. House of Chivo, they're down in southern Scotland. They make really beautiful kilt hose that I like to incorporate into my outfits too. But yeah, she, I believe she lives in Vermont, and she's one of the only local kilt makers, as in she actually crafts them by hand. A lot of companies are going to machine-made kilts now, which there's also nothing wrong with. They can be more uniform and quicker to get from a business standpoint, but she does them in the traditional way, which is awesome. Next lesson, this is a ski and do, and let's look at Caleb. So it means black dagger, and it is small enough to fit right in your kilt hose. So it was the one thing you could go into a castle or different areas and not have to check your weapon. Somewhat disgusted. One water, and what'd you get, a Coke? One Coke was $11.50. That's like worse than Disney. And here with the girls playing the bagpipes, they're called the Roland Drones. They're from Glasgow. I mean, they're not just girls, but... Let's talk about one of the cutest Scottish traditions, the Highland Coo. Highland cows, or as we say, Highland coos, or if you want to be very Scots, the Highland Coo, are one of the oldest cattle varieties in the world. They are known to be very, very sweet, docile, hardy, able to adapt to the rainy, cold Scottish weather, and they say they're good eating. Now, when I go to Scotland, I make it a point not to eat red meat. I know, that might sound funny, but if I see a menu and it says Highland cattle on it, that is a major no-no, because I cannot consume one of these adorable little guys. I have no problem eating regular old ugly cows, but these ginger sisters from another mister, I just can't do it. They're too cute. I love them. A variety of colors. Again, darn Queen Victoria, she loved them. And she was the one who really brought out the red, the ginger coos. She would breed the most dark blonde together until it achieved the proper shade of gingy. And so again, another Scottish thing we can thank an English queen for. Hey guys, is what it is. They're cute, that's all I know. Look how cute. And they've become a very popular symbol of Scottishness. They put the Highland Coo on merchandise, make plushies of them, embroider them into sweatshirts. It's another thing that is uniquely Scottish and uniquely adorable.
deck. They have cauterizers there, like there's a flat can that you push against the cauterizer.
And fall foliage check. We saw so much color when we were driving up. This isn't even anything compared to some of the spots that we saw. It is getting beautiful out here. It'll be last day of summer. Tomorrow begins fall. Okay, let's walk through some of the clan tents representing different family names. Here is Clan Fraser. They probably have the most popular motto right now, Je suis prêt, and that is because of this guy right here, Jamie Fraser. If you guys watch Outlander, you know, and when you know, you know. Canon, they have a very distinctive tartan. Oh, and I am a tartan nerd. You guys know when I nerd hard. And I have a little party trick in which I kind of study the tartans. I'm pretty good at identifying them by now. I can kind of look at them and figure out what most of them are. Let's see if any of these apply to Caleb or I. Let's find. And these are official clan groups. So you can actually pay to join and officially join your clan, and you get like different ones provide different things. Things like newsletters and information. They help with figuring out ancestry, pointing you to maybe some gaps in your history that you don't know about. So it's really cool. Sinclair, for instance, commit thy work to God, which I love. And they have a rooster on their clan badge. Everybody's different. And again, let's find some that apply to us. Action. Your 13th great-grandmother, ready? Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Margaret Montgomery. Ooh, there we go. You have a bunch of Montgomery, but it's way back. Some of the connections are closer than others. He has so many Scottish names on his tree, it's like, wow. All right. And see, most of these people, they come in and they bring their, oh, here's our biggie right here. Here's our top of the notch, most closely related clan wins with Clan McFarlane Lochsloy. This I will defend, and we have the pleasure of having the half-naked guy on our badge. Lucky us. And traditionally, from Loch Lomond, Lochsloy specifically, it's like this tiny little island on a Loch Lomond. We have been there. It is amazing. And Kay's grandmother was always very firm on, you are McFarlane, you are Scottish. He knew it the whole time. It was ingrained in him, so that's why I say the most closely related on down the tree. Right. And I talked to you guys a little while ago about how you could have a clan name, a major one like McFarlane, but you could also be a sept. I told you there'd be bagpipes. So for instance, I know that Knox, as in our General Henry Knox, he would, if he was alive today, be wearing the McFarlane tartan because Knox is a sept or member, kind of subgroup of Clan McFarlane, as in they were under McFarlane. And here you see Knox right there. So whenever I go to events having to do with Henry Knox, I'm a nerd, so I wear my McFarlane red. You guys might be going, why the heck is there a moon on the table for Clan McFarlane? Well, that is because we're a little notorious. When the moon came out, that is when we went in and got the cattle. So they actually call it a McFarlane moon because everybody beware, we're coming for your cattle. When the moon was out, yeah. Ethical? I don't know. It's just how we rolled back in the day. See, here you go. This is great. This talks about the McFarlane lantern, the McFarlane moon. They were so competent, the full moon was known as McFarlane's lantern. In 1592, the clan was accused of slaying the Calhoun of Luss and was outlawed. In 1594, Clan McFarlane was named into legislation requiring to provide surety of good behavior. Now, do we always keep up good behavior? Eye of the beholder type of thing. But here you go. Here you can kind of see a map of where everybody is situated. And you can see here is that Lochsloy I was telling you guys about within Loch Lomond, and you can see the Calhouns are right there. So that is part of the rivalry with them being in such close proximity. And look, the McGregors were right there, the Buchanans, Cunninghams, and the Stuarts. Ironically, Kay has a little bit of most of these in him as well, definitely has Calhoun, so I guess it's a case of warring with yourselves. I mean, we are both also have a lot of McDonald and Campbell, so I mean, it happens. You have enough Scottish surnames on your tree, and it's gonna flow that way.
We did a bunch of hiking up here, just like day hikes.
Yeah.
And then so we looked down and we were talking. Yeah, which was just awesome.
The thing I want to tell you guys is with a lot of clans, you know, you're going to get a lot of spellings for different reasons, migration patterns, depending on where you went through, when you moved, etc. But it doesn't matter. So whether you spell it M-A-C-F-A-R-L-A-N-E, M-C-F-A-R-L-A-N-D, M-A-C-F-A-R-L-N-D, doesn't make a difference. At one point, everybody was actually spelled more like McFarlane with a P. And the general consensus is, doesn't matter how you spell it, if you're McFarlane, you're McFarlane, they're all the same family, and the spelling variances, which are out of everyone's control, do not make a difference. And that is the same stance that every clan I've ever talked to takes, because you have Scots all over the world during various times in history, and these things happen. And thankfully, it doesn't make a difference. Here are some examples of some of the different McFarlane tartans. You guys have probably seen Kay wear this black and white one. That is technically the morning tartan, which is interesting because not every clan has a morning tartan, so that's kind of cool. Here is the green. He also has some things in that. And there is like the red when I wear my big Arisade that looks very, very traditional for a woman. Women shouldn't, in my opinion, really be wearing kilts. The real women's kilts is an Arisade like I wear. I will insert a picture now so you guys remember what I'm talking about. So yeah, that is an actual traditional Scottish women's garment. Whoa, Clan Murray's got a nice setup. There are a lot of clans here representing today. Very, very cool to see. Here we go. All right. Lots of these clan societies have lots of useful information if you're trying to research your family and stuff like that. And I just found my specific for being a Sanderson under Donald a Glengarry. Sandersons are the raven, and it comes from the scripture that says, God feeds the ravens. That's in God feeds the ravens. Imagine how much he cares for you if he even cares for the ravens. Love it. Is Clan Grant with another example of you could be one of us. See, if your last name is Allen, Bissett, Bowie, Gilroy, McAllen, McGilroy, McCarran, Pratt, or Sooty, you could be under the Clan Grant, and maybe you want to wear their tartan. Now, do we know when this document, was it one document signed and they all came together?
1609, yes.
Okay.
We call it the Band of Union.
Wow.
They re-signed it in 2009.
1608 something.
That's so cool. Some more information for you guys if you are interested, or maybe one of those names connects to you. This gentleman here has his own YouTube channel. It is called Touch Not, and there is his information. Very interesting and unique. This is the Chatting Confederation of Clans, and they did something very, very smart. They came together and decided that if you were a McIntosh, McPherson, Shaw, McBean, Farquharson, McPhail, Davidson, McGilvery, McQueen, McThomas, McLeans in the North, or McIntyres of Badenoch, that you should join this society, and it was great for protection. While a lot of other clans were fighting amongst themselves, these guys band together, agreed that if anyone attacked them from another clan, they would come together and in defense and support each other. And gee, I think that's great. Because I do think that a big problem with the Scottish people in general is that they were always busy warring with each other rather than thinking about the big dog, which is basically England, taking them over. If they could have got along, focused, and figured out a way to be unified, maybe they wouldn't be the United Kingdom today. And I'm not giving an opinion on that. I go back and forth. I love the glory of the West. I appreciate England for what it is, but I do think every country has the right to be free if they want it, and I guess that is the question. But going back in history, they did try this very interesting experience with the Clan Chatham Confederated Members Clan, and I, for one, think it's amazing. And that song they are playing is Scotland the Brave. There goes the coos. And, visiting on Sunday is a real catch-22 because the crowds are definitely lighter, which is good, but they do always wind down early and there is less programming. This is the 50th anniversary of the New Hampshire Highland Games. We've changed a lot through the years. We were just talking about how a few years ago, and you guys know I'm always honest with you guys, I don't like shill for anybody. The first time we came, it was awesome. It was so much fun. It was big. They had really incredible people competing in the actual game portion. It was a lot more organized. People just seemed happier to be here. It seemed a lot larger. There's a lot of politics involved in anything and a lot of, internal drama, I think. They are doing a good job of keeping it alive, which I definitely appreciate. We do like NH Scott very much, and I know that there is always going to be changes with anything, and I think that, COVID definitely put a damper on things. But there are some things that could be tweaked. The parking is always a little bit stressful for me because basically you have to park way far out of town and get on a big nasty hot bus. It's like 200 degrees in there, and ride back, and it can take a long time to get in and out of here, and then that means you also don't have access to your car. So basically there's just no parking actually on premises, which I feel like they could do something to remedy that. I don't know. Again, the location is beautiful and it is definitely worth taking a look at, even given some of the little quirks. There is the chairlift. Would you guys believe that I went in the enclosed one, not the one where you're dangling, but I did go in an enclosed one a few years ago, and that was a lot of fun. That's where we were staying. That's lovely. Really pleasant. Let's see. In a few months, this will be covered in white and people will be skiing. It is a beautiful area.
There's the snow machines.
And this is off the world famous Kankamangus Highway. Prime spot for leaf peepers, and the leaves are already changing. In a couple weeks, traffic will be so bad, what should be an hour-long ride will take 3 hours to get from this point over to North Conway once you cross it. So, but it's because it is beautiful. There's trails along the ways, mountains, rivers. It's just a very, very, very beautiful spot, not only in New Hampshire, but in all of the country. This part of the White Mountains is just incredible. Oh my gosh. That can seriously mess you up. The other thing is that this was about $45 a person to get in. And Friday and Saturday even more. Saturday is very expensive. $71 a person. Is it worth it? I don't know if it's just because we go to Scotland and experience it and don't maybe need as much to do this. And I'm not saying anything about anybody who enjoys this. If you do, that's great. And I get the games and wanting to celebrate heritage, obviously, because that's what I've been talking about since we've been here. I totally get it. For us, it's a once every few years thing, I think, at this point. Yeah, just my opinion. Completely my opinion alone. If it was more like $30 a person and it wasn't over $12 for a bottle of water and a soda, and if people were nice and kept their P's and Q's to themselves and were friendlier, which is weird because this is New Hampshire and it's Scottish people, should be the friendliest bunch around. Sadly, was not our experience, and this is the second time that has not been our experience. I'm not saying everybody, just saying some. I don't want to sound like a negative Nelly because you guys know, no, let me be clear, nobody loves Scotland more than Kay and I. I mean, maybe somebody does, but we really, really, really love Scotland and do a lot to propagate the culture, talk about it, and shed light on it. So it's a little bit sad that we're feeling this way right now. I'm not saying it was terrible, it was fun. You guys saw, we had fun. I'm gonna show you guys this. You guys have probably seen me wearing this on camera. This is the New Hampshire tartan that we absolutely love and adore. It's so pretty. And that is, again, an official registered tartan. And NH Scott kind of has the rights to it. It is made by Lacaron. The Scotland shop makes the rosettes. Lacaron of Scotland, which is the best of the best. They are down in Selkirk in southern Scotland. They make the rest of that for them. They weave it. Lacaron is amazing. But yeah, we do have, there are many states, so you might be interested in that. It'd be worth looking up. The state you live in may have a tartan too. Yeah, so NH Scott also just announced that they recently bought a campground, and they're saying they're not going to put the games there, but they're going to use it for retreats because NH Scott does do many wonderful programs throughout the year. And also want to point out, I am not saying anything bad about anybody from NH Scott or any of their leadership or anybody being unfriendly. It was honestly just like other randos. So just want to put that out there to the universe. But yes, they do wonderful programs throughout the year in the area to keep things going, even when the games. NH Scott has their very own standing stone right here at the entrance to the games. It used to be in a different area and look a little different. They kind of remodeled it, and it's kind of a spot people always come for a great photo. Even our New Hampshire police get into it. We appreciate you guys, and you always look awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. They did not meet the challenge of the Guinness Book of World Records having the most pipers in one spot. They were 100 people off, so luck is not over. We're gonna do some other fun little stuff before we head on home. I'm bringing you guys along. What do you think about that? You guys have any questions about anything Scottish? Or I didn't clarify something enough? Or you want to revisit a topic? Drop that in the comments. You guys, I'm an open book. I'm always ready, willing, and able to discuss history or otherwise. Anything discussed on here. If you've got any questions, hit me up. I will try to answer them. And look at this. I mean, talk about a spot for Highland Games. This truly does look like the Scottish Highlands. This truly can transport you to the Scottish Highlands. Very, very similar topography. So beautiful. Now we stand in this long line in the sun and wait to get on our school bus to go back to the parking lot. Yes, they have the flags of the nations there, and those are actually always there. It is a really lovely, if you guys are into skiing, New Hampshire is awesome. All right, guys, we ate something which was much needed and definitely helped after being in the sun, not eating, and me battling this crud that I am battling. So now we moved over to the adorable little town of Woodstock, New Hampshire, just adjacent to Lincoln, which is, you know, both very much ski areas. And there is this very cool little general store called Fadden's General Store. Fadden's or Fadden's. I think it's Fadden's. I have never been in here, so let's check it out. Wow, this place is very old school, very authentic. I love it. And they've got a picture of His Excellency up there, so this must be a good place. Whoa, this is very, very cool. And they have a maple boiler in here. That is so awesome. Very, very old school. And look at Mr. Moosey. The only moosey that I will see, because I am still yet to see an actual moose anywhere in New England. Here is our current governor. Says, Jim, thank you for the friendship, New Hampshire. It's lucky to have a great, wonderful store owner. Oh, okay. So that is the owner of this store, and that is Kelly Ayotte, our governor. How cool is that? really cool antiques and stuff in here. Very, very cute. Oh my gosh, another moosey. So that store was fun, and they've been there since 1883 or something like that, so wow. Just gonna cross the street, taking you guys for a little walk here as we wind down. I mean, there's not a lot to it, just a cute little area. I thought we would stop and show you guys, give you a general impression of this zone over here. This guy just got out of a car from Massachusetts and yelled decay. Is something going on today or something? I've seen like 500 people in kilts. We're like, yeah, it's the Highland Games. He was like, oh my gosh. It's pretty funny. We walked down here by the river, which is very low. We need rain. There's supposed to be rain in a couple days, so that's good. They found this cool little area. It's right there. Their deck is like right over the water with boulders, and there's like this really cool looking dead tree right here too. There definitely should be way more water in this though. I'm That History Chick, and if you're just watching, I make videos on the 18th century and beyond. All things American history, pop culture, early America. I travel around and take you to the action, letting history speak for itself because it is alive, it's real, and it's waiting to be explored. It's right here in New England, and it's all over this beautiful country of ours. Like Patrick Henry, I know no way of judging the future, but by the past. And I am losing my voice again. So with that, I'm going to bid you guys farewell for now. We have an exciting weekend coming up. I am so bummed, by the way, that I missed all of the awesome remembrance ceremonies, activities, reenactments, and everything at Newburyport this weekend. I was held up with this throat thing and the sinus thing going on, and work and travel from our trip from New York and all the other stuff that we've had going on. So I sadly missed it, and we were gifted tickets to this. So by a friend who wasn't able to come, so we were like, well, you better use them. We haven't been to the games for a while, so I hope that you guys enjoyed that. We will see you very soon, and we will be covering Arnold's Quebec expedition. I'm also on Instagram at @that_historychick, on Facebook at @thathistorychick, and right here on YouTube at @thathistorychick, with more exciting content coming your way. Take care, you guys.